27 March 2016. We were at the call, and the prophet called me and my wife to come upstage. He gave us a prophetic word concerning us not being able to have a baby. We've been married for 3 years and we couldn't conceive. So on that day, the prophet told us that our first baby will be a boy. And as you can see,
Amen.
So his name is Wandida Ishe. It's Shona for saying, "You have loved me, oh God." And so it's Wandida Ishe Daro Tsoro. And yeah, we came to just to say thank you to Prophet, and just to encourage everyone in here that when God speaks through the man of God, you should really pay heed. I just like to say thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We are blessed to have you in our lives. Amen.
Amen.
There was fibroids. Apparently the fibroids were so big that I would not be able to have kids. I would always have a miscarriage if I tried to have kids. So then we didn't even try to do anything, but I didn't want to take that to heart because the prophet still said that I'm going to have a child. For the rest of the whole year, last year, we were getting the word that we're going to have a baby boy.
The boy, the king is coming.
So because of that, I kept remembering that as much as we were always getting how complicated my sickness was and how bad the fibroids were. And then, so last year in September, I started feeling a bit sick again, but the kind of sickness I didn't know that I was already, I had already conceived by then. Because before we left then, can I just say this, before we left the prophet, before we left Flora Town, he said that as we live here, you will also become a mother. So I bless God for that. Kabelo was there to witness that moment. I didn't know I had already fell pregnant. And then suddenly in February this year, I started having pains in my abdomen. And because we thought it was fibroids, we went to a fertility clinic to have an operation. We get there and the doctor says, "You are 5 months pregnant." So that was amazing for us because we're not expecting a child in there. We expected it to be fibroids. But because God is so amazing, guys, even though the doctor said, because you are so sick, you won't have kids, because you have so many fibroids, I had like 3 big ones. One was like 8 centimeters, the other one was like 6, the other one was like 4. But in the midst of all of that, I had the child.
I just want to say before I can testify that I think the leaders of this house, the realm that they operate in is like that of Elijah. Their prophecies don't make sense. And if you read the book of 1 Kings, you will understand what I'm talking about in terms of the prophecies not making sense. Elijah, what he told the woman in terms of making food, like. Anyway, coming to my testimony, prophetess said to us just before we went there in February that we must hurry up and go to paint our room. To be specific, she said we must paint it blue.
By faith, I want you to go in one of your bedrooms, paint it blue, put whatever baby things are required there, put everything there by faith. Do you hear me? Because the babies are here. The babies are here. The babies are here. And we receive them by faith. You hear me? Go home and start to prepare like you are about to give birth next week. You hear me?
I don't want to lie. I only obeyed what you said. I didn't paint because I was expecting a child to come. But I did it because you gave prophecy to us, and I had to do it because I trust that God operated through you. And
wow.
When I said that, the prophet as well said we're gonna have a baby boy. He said that while the doctor was saying that we won't have any children until the fibroids were removed. And
Well, the other doctor was was saying I can't have children now because of the complications. So I had 2 doctors who were just against this baby.
Sure. So in the midst of that, every prophecy that came through for us was we were gonna have a baby boy. And like I'm saying, he's saying that God is saying we're gonna have a baby boy. The doctors are saying that no, you're not gonna have any children. You're gonna keep on miscarrying because we miscarried before.
Wow.
And the reason why I'm comparing your prophecy to that of Elijah is when I read the book of Kings, it doesn't make sense. The things that Elijah spoke to the woman, to everyone, it doesn't make sense. I read it over and over again. It doesn't make sense.
Wow.
And when you say we must go, like I'm saying, I want to repeat this. When you say I must go and paint the children's room with my last money that I have, and saying that the child is here, whereas we know for sure that we did not conceive. We did not know that we conceived.
Wow.
And it did not make sense. And
Wow.
like I'm saying,
Wow.
the natural me believed that we are. The natural me did not believe that we are pregnant. I only painted because it was a prophecy.
That's right.
So
Praise the Lord.
I thank God.
The Lord allowed us to enjoy each other before we conceived Monet. She came as a word of prophecy through the man of God, Prophet Undi, and Ori, and the children ministry as well. So the word was declared and we received it with excitement and we trusted God. And surely she's now 3 years and 7 months. It was so specific and to the T that the gender was revealed as well. Yes. Even the date and the month. Yes.
And she came at that day.
Yes.
At that day and the month.
It was prophesied that she will be born on the 12th of May, 2017, and exactly on that day, she was born.
Amen.
And then the second born ahead, it was prophesied by...
Ori, he wanted a boy, I wanted a girl. And we trusted God, and it happened that Bobo Children's Ministry, he spoke and somebody wanted to correct him, but he was so certain that he saw a child and a house, and yes, it happened. But something just to
You said, did he say the gender of the child? Right. Right.
She told me that he said it, and it was before pregnant.
It was before
Yeah,
pregnant.
he said you see a girl,
Yeah.
and the girl is there.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
I love you.